Bye-bye Max Vince. So it's nice to have ammunition here. Oh, and that certainly didn't hurt either. Little 10 TP with our triple boxing gloves. So it's always a fun thing to be able to go to other guys when they go down, and that's kind of where we're at right now. I've decided, as I said, to not repeat. So with Simmons dying, we had to go in and bring in a reinforcement. Additionally, I had to be smart about, where I want to use Seth and where I want to use other guys. And that's kind of part of this challenge. The idea with this Trickster challenge here is, try to use your whole roster. Have fun with it. I'm going to save that tag match for last. I think right now what we're going to do is we're going to do the Seth match. So you can take a look at our Tricksters. Pretty much Miz is the only one who is now left in reserve. He's kind of all or nothing. He needs a very nice board. We're going to just go with the blues here. So we got Lawler probably in place. Let's get Lawler and let's get DB in place. So there's Lawler. And I prefer this setup. Obviously, going with the Steel DB setup is more defensive from a versus perspective. But I just don't find it to be as effective overall. So there's Bryant continuing to make his rounds. And this, hopefully, barring having to, go to the reserves with Miz, this hopefully will be it for Daniel Bryan. But a lot of people ask me, listen, don't you enjoy playing with Seth? No, actually, I don't. I don't enjoy playing with Seth at all. Part of it is just, these characters, the choose characters, I just don't find to be very fun for what it's worth. I mean, there isn't a whole lot of skill involved in it, at least from my perspective. The board is not being real forgiving here. There's our purple, there's our blue, but you can also kind of see the issue with Seth. Brock. Brock, as opposed to like a Volkov and a tag. If he doesn't get that green, those greens take a long time to get charged up. So, it's certainly a situation where, he leaves himself quite open. So this is going to be interesting. We can run this here. Just kind of go quickly. Yeah, let's say with 2. I don't love it, but I'm not gonna overthink this. So let's just go here. I know it's kind of silly connecting them all. I know it's a very computer move, very AI move. But let's get this rolling here. See, not a whole lot of skill. I didn't even really overthink it. And I definitely didn't have the optimal setup. I just didn't want to take the time to go through it. And that's part of it with Seth. It's just kind of like, it's not a whole lot of thinking. It's blue and just throw a whole bunch of choosing purples. I personally don't find it fun. I do find 35 black TP fun. So, that is fun for me. But, a choose character, just, there isn't a whole lot to it, and I really enjoy the newer characters, whether it's, the way I was playing with Simmons last week, where you're random and you're trying to set up the traps, and you're setting up different things, whether it's a DDP with his X-Break gems, those characters that have a little bit of thought into them, and or some, gem repercussions, whether it's that with the cross breaks, etc. Those are more characters that are more my speed. And again, we'll go back to the tag last, and we're going to go to the Papa Shango match. Papa Shango, who was the prize. And it's not Honky's time quite yet, but it will be Razor Ramon's time. And let's make sure, there's 2 setups, I brought it up a couple times. There's purple, and red, purple. I think red, purple, though, is slower, but is quite more effective. So we're going to have to get Sting in play here. There he is, off Farouk. And it's played pretty simple here. I mean, it's at this juncture he's going to have it ready turn 2. So if we can get a purple match, that's ideal. We don't need to get the red match. I think it's kind of interesting. I spoke to there's a guy in my faction named Mikey Numbers. We call him. It's just his name's Mikey with a whole lot of numbers, and so obviously the geniuses we called him Mikey Numbers. But needless to say, he went with a little bit different of a strategy. Here we don't have this luxury because he picked up that red match there. But his strategy was to take the traps out, as quick as you can. And then once you have the traps out, then at that point you can look and try to recycle them while holding back the submission, as I normally do with the submission, and you'll see it here too. I like to put them on gems that are helpful, so it's going to be on black and reds for them. One, normally 2, just like he just broke it there. I'm going to put it there. 2, they turn it to silent gems. So if they don't end up getting broken, which is really the goal, then at least they're going to be silent gems. And now here we are. We're going to go with a strategy that I usually don't go with, which is just the recycle, the trap, and submission strategy. Because normally I'm searching for the purples. I like doing the razor's edge. But it doesn't appear that that's what we're going to have to do here to win. So we're going to have to recycle both, and that's fine with me. I mean, a win's a win. I probably could have picked up that purple, and maybe should have. But again, I'm a little frantic here to try to get as much of this done as I possibly can, as quick as I can for you guys. Obviously, with the Farouk loss, I knew there's no way I could get this thing done. So I'm sure we're on part 2 by now. And whoops, so let's place them all under here. I really want to seduce, as I would say, the AI to break these trap gems. And I'll just add this for the Farouk tape. His Farouk trap, actually similar to Razor. Razor has about 14k in terms of damage, how he works and it's move damage that doesn't show, whereas Farouk does have damage. He has 9. I found that out this week when I was just playing with him. So we'll be fine here. This will take us right to that finisher. No need to get that red again. And ladies and gents, you are going to get the razor's edge. And off it goes. So not quick turn-wise, but he wins. That submission really keeps Shango in check, even when, if you guys noticed, I mean, for about 4 or 5 turns, there wasn't one purple match anywhere in sight. So that's the benefit of it. And lastly, we're going to go on to, our final match here. It's almost like last time, Steamboat, that red ring was just turning along with Ricky. They just want us to stare at him and think about just how mediocre his character is. And he's quite mediocre. Between him and Jake, I'd probably say, they are probably the worst 2 megas, which, I mean, they're not awful characters, but based on the high quality of megas we've had in the last 6 or 7 months, I think they're clearly the worst 2, dating back to Kevin Owens' new face of America. So, what are we doing here? Well, we're going to go with Honky, and we're going to tag him with Craig the Hammer Valentine. And you got to love that logo, the big white logo. Now, there unfortunately is not a purple move, so we're going to have to sub in the health steal. So, the health steal is in. We've got Bray and Seth, which will give us some bonus damage. Now, Scopely, I loved you when you gave Honky his skip turns, and I actually did a video on it, if you guys recall. So you're going to see some of the more board dependency now that he's going to have, based upon the fact that the skip turn is long gone. So with Baylor's running the green-black, so at least he's running a really just highly questionable, I guess I'd call it, setup. I mean, that would probably be the best way to call it. At this juncture, normally I'm going to want to possibly leave those purples on the board. But with Baylor, I mean, I'm not really sure what he's going to do here. So I'm going to get them while I can. And let's do that now. So there it goes off. We got the purples. Now, there's a few ways to play it. And this is really where the skip turn would have been wonderful. Where we can go it, we get the +2, so one match, next turn, we'll be ready to roll. Will it be enough to beat Baylor? I would highly, highly doubt it. So, the point here is, if we don't think it's going to be enough, and we have potentially 2 setups ready to go, and he's nowhere near, let's take that black out of the equation and get it that way. So, we'll go that way. We kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's do the health steal first. Then, before the finisher, let's lay down this move. Now, putting down the countdown gem, it serves a purpose immediately because we're assuming he's going to kick out. And he should kick out. He's a striker. That being said, there is no black gems on the board. So, let's see. It's 37, not overpowering, but look at the multiples. Look at the multipliers right there. I mean, it just kind of jumps at you, doesn't it, folks? Where it's sort of like, holy Columbus, Ohio. And you sit there and say, my goodness, there is really, it was only 20 left, and that thing just popped on us. So, fortunately, that's why the countdown gem was where he was. And we can see where the pin meter is, and I'm just kind of looking to see if we can get creative or do anything fun, but it doesn't really look like we can. So, I'll do what I do, and we'll get it, and we'll get our purple and put them away. So, amazingly enough, there's how honky works. Bye Baylor. We miss you, skip turn, but honky and poor Greg the Hammer gets involved, but Alles is just a tag partner. Though at least he didn't have to dye his hair black. Based on the shoot videos I've seen, he hated it more than anything. It was basically just a complete a-hole backstage the entire time with the rhythm and blues gimmick. So those are our tricksters. You actually got to see a bonus. You got to see 9. Fortunately, I didn't die, so you didn't get to see how pathetically terrible Miz is, nor do I plan on showing you it. But till next time, the Trickster Challenge is complete. If you guys can finish it in 15 minutes, I'd love to see your video. Feel free